Guys, this is so big. Trump, Kash, Patel, and what I love is that we have Elon Musk, who is blasting all of this to every single one of his members, his followers on X, exposing Gavin Newsom and other top Democrat governors for the massive fraud, waste, and abuse. We are now up to, get this everybody, in California in the past 3 weeks. It started off at $79 billion. This morning, breaking news, $345 billion of fraud in the past 3 weeks, including today in California, having to do with fake college tuition payouts, school funds payouts to like elementary schools, homelessness, daycare centers, you name it. We are up to a third of $1 trillion, everybody, in fraud within the state of California. They're coining this the largest fraud, the capital fraud of the United States. The California is the largest state in terms of GDP with the most money in the United States and gets the most money from federal funding. But now we have caught this. Again, I want to say this number because this is so earth-shattering, everybody. From one state, 3 weeks of investigating, $345 billion. We're going to show you the receipts in a moment, guys. We're finally catching the massive waste and abuse that's been happening under Democratic leadership, governorship, sanctuary states. This is real. This is our reality now. The momentum is behind us. Never have we exposed from state to state to state the massive fraud like we're doing today. If you love this, guys, hit the thumbs up like button because people need to know this. $345 billion. We have the state auditor who had it at $79 billion, just upped it to $88 billion through the state auditor of going through California's federal government books. That's at the state level. But bombshell news has come out from whistleblowers that have exposed up to $250 billion in taxpayer theft across California state with fake community college apps, scamming student aid, pay to play in K through 12 schools, and again, homelessness and illegal health and healthcare to illegals. All this up to $250 billion. That's where they said the number's at, but they say it's going to get higher. You want to know why we're $38 trillion in debt? This is why. The Trump DOJ is so adamant. We've got to win this. We've got to keep digging in. There is a plan to send ICE, Homeland Security, DHS to every single state to go through and root out fraud, waste, and abuse. This is massive, everybody. The Trump DOJ and Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Dillon just sued another 2 states, Arizona and Connecticut, because they are hiding their voter rolls, failing to turn them over. Over half of the states in the United States of America are now being sued because they are failing to hand over voter rolls to ensure that only American citizens are voting. Think about that, everybody. Over half of the United States, of the states in the United States, are pushing back. When you got something to hide, when you're protecting illegals, this is the actions that we're seeing. In Minnesota, guys, this is how successful, and I told you, January, this is the month. So much momentum behind everything that we're doing. I sent over 2,000 agents to go in, and they got success in Minnesota big time. They've already arrested in the past week over 1,000 alleged murders, rapists, pedophiles, gang members from the 2,000 ICE agents that surged into Minnesota, cleaning up the state, guys. This is justice for the average American. We also have it where the Attorney General Keith Ellison has on official audio tape been caught saying that here accepting cash from Somali fraudsters in exchange for votes, campaign donations to keep the taxpayer money flowing. Guys, I'm going to show you the video, the audio. You're going to hear this. It's bad. This is what you called controlled state by foreign opposition. These people that have come in from other countries, putting money into the pockets of our elected officials or attorney generals or the people who are supposed to be prosecuting the bad guys, and yet they are becoming the people that are standing in the way of justice, and we've got them on tape. And if it didn't get any better, everybody, listen to this. Marco Rubio has just told lawmakers that the Trump administration wants to make a bid on purchasing Greenland to push for an Arctic territory for a U.S. military base there, as well as for rare earth minerals. Officially been sent by Marco Rubio telling Congress, pony up, we need to be able to make a bid for Greenland. All of this stuff, guys, we got the receipt for you today, guys. I'm loving it. What I love more is that, again, exposing the fraud, waste, and abuse. Guys, it started off with Minnesota. It started off with a couple $100 million. Then it went to $1 billion, then to $2 billion, then $8 billion, $9 billion. We're at $19 billion in Minnesota. Now we just found out that we've got upwards of almost $350 billion in California that's been found out. This is what we put Trump in there for. This is what we put Kash Patel, Homeland Security, all these people. The Trump admin is actually doing what we want them to do. Save our tax dollars, stop the fraud, waste, and abuse, let us keep our own money, and let's pay down the debt. Big show for you today, guys. I want to thank everybody who is watching. If you're not subscribed yet to our family, please hit that subscribe button. Join our family so we can take care of you every day with the breaking news. I want to give some special love to those that have given. And remember, when you give on this channel, we take your donations and we partner with you and we give to local charities, making a difference to local children's homes, crisis pregnancy centers, live on stream on the 22nd of every single month. Show Alan Demeen, I got it right, Alan Demeen, some love in the chat. Thank you so much, brother. Show PDX67, our boy Richard, some love in the chat for the 5 gifted TrueLife News memberships. If you got a free one, check, make sure, show them some love in the chat, as well as the Memphis Conservative. Thank you so much for your support. And again, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, and this is also big news too, guys, everybody, that again, if you missed out on open enrollment back in November, December, all that stuff, now is the time. You can call Chapter Up and get help with your Medicare coverage. You can actually, it's a free service to you. They can help you find the right Medicare coverage to make sure you're not wasting any money. The number is 667-895-3015. The number is also in the description as well as the bottom of the screen, but the time is now. You can do this right now, everybody. Call them up, get the right Medicare coverage. Don't miss out. People have saved thousands and thousands of dollars a year being able to use this free service by Chapter. Get your blessing, everybody, and let me know. Put it in the comments. I'm looking for it because I want to see it. But I'm telling you guys, what we are seeing now is the beginning of the end of the fraud, waste, and abuse in the Democratic Party as we know it. Listen to this.
Did you have a good morning? Minneapolis sure did. They woke up on thin ice. 2,000 agents hit the ground running. 2,000. It's the largest Homeland Security operation in history. The streets were icy, but the questions were hot. DHS is going full Doge. They're going around asking businesses, so you got this much money, what'd you do with it?
Yeah.
You'd think this was already standard practice. It wasn't.
Okay, so you just heard him. Remember, I told you, everybody, ICE, DHS are now being used to go in and confront fraudulent businesses, fraudulent daycares. 2,000 on the ground. Guys, and Christy Nome, who is head over DHS, said we're going to do this to every single state in the United States, baby.
Biden approved a rule that handed billions to child care centers with no attendance checks. No wonder fraud exploded. Trump ended that today. But the damage has already been done, and we're still picking up the pieces. Nick Shirley, back on the ground, asking the tough questions.
Right here, you see a daycare center. It says it's Creative Minds Daycare. Creative Minds Daycare was actually shut down and was reopened the next day underneath the name Super Kids. And just in the past year, in 2025, this daycare alone has received $2.45 million.
We called Creative Minds Daycare. No answer. On a weekday, in the middle of the day. That's the problem. We don't know what's going on in these daycares. We're paying for them, but we don't know. Creative Minds Daycare had 3 separate violations in the past 3 years. Wasn't clean, no furniture, no supplies. They ignored reporting requirements for abuse and neglect and couldn't even prove their teachers were qualified, if they even had.
And that's the thing, everybody. I want to show you this because, again, it's all about following the money. We're hitting Minnesota. We're hitting California. We are going to hit every single state for fraud, waste, and abuse. Fed prosecutor has warned more arrests are coming after massive fraud in California homeless services. They said, we followed the money. I'm going to show you this video in just a moment. Guys, this is this is what we voted for. And I told you, they upped it. It was started out as 79 billion. Now it's up to 88 billion by the state auditor in more loss, fraud, waste, and abuse that's been found by their own state auditor in California, everybody. This is what we voted for. If you love this, hit the thumbs up like button, guys, because I'm telling you, it gets even better and better with what I'm about to show you next. So you saw 88 billion there, okay? Now we have it where they are talking upwards of $250 billion stolen, fraudulent, waste, abuse through what? The college tuition, all of the money going to like kids, daycares, things like that. I got to pull this back up. Sorry, guys, I accidentally deleted it. But I'm going to show you in a moment. But this, to me, is everything that we've wanted to see for an entire year. And everything that it's such a disgrace. Everything that Gavin Newsom is doing. I want to show you this. Because he's trying to copy Trump. Gavin Newsom, this is from his official press office, said, in reality, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. Who else said that, everybody, if not President Trump? So President Trump said this. Watch this right here. He even copied this one right here. This is from Governor Gavin Newsom. I was the hunted, now I'm the hunter. Guys, I'm telling you, they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to sidestep their fraud, waste, and abuse. But we are exposing them on here on TrueLife News, across the board, even right here. Fed prosecutor warns more arrests coming after massive fraud found in the California homeless services. We've got $88 billion now from there. And I'm going to pull over the $250 billion from the stolen from like the college tuition, fake scams like that, guys. This is huge. PDX67, thank you so much, brother, for the 5 Gifted True Life News memberships. Show him some love in the chat, as well as our boy Chris Prez with the 10 Gifted True Life News memberships. Show our brother Chris, OG of the family, some love in the chat. Y'all are amazing. Give Darcy T Corner some love for her 5 Gifted True Life News memberships. Guys, if you're getting a free membership, show him some love in the chat. Give him some love for this free membership to the channel. Digging It with Don, thank you so much for your support. Said the next few months are going to be crazy with all the movement in our hemisphere. I can't wait. Thank you so much, Debbie Davis, for your support. In the super chat, member of the family, and William Walker, Grimwrath, member for 13 months. Give him some love, everybody. Show PDX67 Richard, Chris Prez, and Darcy's T Corner some love in the chat. And I'm telling you, everybody, it only gets better with all the fraud, waste, and abuse we're catching.
Teachers. Minnesota needs to be investigated top to bottom. We need to find exactly where every cent ended up. The state's been a hotbed for fraud a lot longer than anyone's willing to admit.
The FBI set up a total of 12 cameras at sites claiming to serve extraordinary numbers of meals. Another was at a deli in St. Paul, also registered by defendant Salim Saeed, which claimed 1,800 meals per day. The video, shown to the jury, showed an average of 23 people a day coming and going.
That was from 2021. Somalis have been slurping up welfare for years. It's been an open secret in the state. The fraud was bad. but the silence was worse. Democrats in the media covered it up. They didn't want us to follow the money. And it's not just Minnesota. A Somali home daycare in Washington state apparently got 2.3 mil over the last 2 years. Neighbors didn't even know there was a daycare next door.
That's the daycare.
The actual house where this...
That's the daycare getting $2.3 million, everybody. Are you even kidding me? No signage. It looks like a regular home. It's a regular residential home. This is where your tax dollars have been going. This is where they keep saying, oh, there's no fraud. There's not much fraud. There's no reason to investigate. There's no reason to go in and look. It's because of this. They've been protecting the fraudsters this entire time. And when you see what I'm about to show you next, guys, it's going to blow your mind.
Daycare was allegedly being run. I mean, it looked like a shack.
Did it look like somewhere you would take your kids for daycare?
No, absolutely not.
Do they run a daycare with children?
I have no idea about that.
Have you ever seen children at this house?
No.
No children?
I don't see any.
You don't know of any daycares around here?
Daycare?
Yeah.
Yeah. Primetime also called the number listed for the daycare. Guy picked up, said he'd never heard of it.
Wow.
Independent journalists are putting in the work, while the legacy media, they look the other way. They would have crowned Walz VP and buried one of the biggest scandals of the decade. So it's no surprise they're bitter Bettys.
Why are we being subjected to a federal government that makes policy based on internet influencers? That is the sort of larger problematic issue here. Before we even get into the idea that you're pulling back child care funds.
Yeah, they should be thanking Shirley. But that'd go against everything they stand for. Democrats have been blindly handing out your money for years. So they're not going to go down without a fight. Tampon, he says he's not going anywhere.
I want to show you this, everybody, because I just pulled this over. I told you, $250 billion, okay? Credible whistleblowers have come forward alleging California may be losing up to $250 billion in the education system, including reports of the fake community college applications and scamming student aid frauds. That's $250 billion, everybody. Listen to this.
Whistleblowers tell GOP candidates that California could be losing $250 billion in the state's education system, including reports of fake community college applications, scamming student aid funds, which brings us to a different kind.
Right here, everybody. I'm going to pull this New York Post up, guys, because when you're talking about $250 billion in fraud, you're talking about literally over 10 years, trillions of dollars. I'm pulling this over right now, guys. This is to me. These people that are over these states should resign immediately. We should 100% hold them accountable that they weren't able to actually manage their states. Look at this right here. Oh my goodness, get away. We don't want to see no Colorados. Okay. California risk $250 billion in fraud. GOP candidates claim after collecting whistleblower tips. We are hearing it from every single facet across the government, guys. Everybody's in on this. Everybody's fed up with this. People are 100% saying we have got to take away this fraud, waste, and abuse, guys. Think about this. $250 billion in fraud there. Then you've got $88 billion here. This right here is California is literally the fraud capital in the United States right now. Aaron B424, let's go with the super chat. Said President Trump has hit America's reset button. We are in the beginning of a long overweighted reboot. Thank you, President Trump. Amen. Show Aaron B424 some love in the chat, everybody. Because again, what you're about to see next, all this stuff, and I know too, we had a big day yesterday, Jan 6, 5-year anniversary. But this right here is taking precedence of making sure that we drain the deep state's slush funds. If we can drain the deep state slush funds, you take out the deep state. Listen to this.
Senator Tuberville joins us. Let me take it from I don't represent all the J6ers, but as someone that went to prison because of Nancy Pelosi, on a misdemeanor and went to a federal prison, I got to tell you, I thank you. That is the most clear. And my question is, why is there not more? Right there in 5.5, 6 minutes, you absolutely laid out the case perfectly. And you used the language that needs to be used. Treason, coup, all of it. Senator Tuberville, your thoughts?
Well, people up here, Steve, and again, thanks for having me on. Happy New Year. They don't want to lose votes, and they don't want to take any kind of chance of making anybody mad. But at the end of the day, thank God we got President Trump. Again, that was my first day. It was a disaster. And I would have, if I'd have been here for a few years, I would have spoken up. I didn't know what to say when they came after us on the Senate floor that night about 9, 10 o'clock. And they called us everything but Americans. I mean, it was unbelievable. And we sat back and took it. And you got some of these people who've been here for a long time. And I wonder today, why in the hell didn't they speak up? I mean, they knew what was going on. And so it was bad for our country, but people have learned from that. We got Donald Trump back. Thank God we did. And he's off and running. And I think, Steve, we're getting ready to have a hell of a year in 2025, 2026.
We're going to have a hell of a year because of the policies he's pushed through, but not because of the Senate. This is what, the audience understand. Your 5 years here, you've been a breath of fresh air because you're fearless. You don't care. You're going to go in and say exactly what it is. And the people in the great state of Alabama, I hope, understand what a voice, not just reason, but clarity, moral clarity you've been. And I got to tell you, when you see something like that of what you did today, I sit there and I just say, when Tuberville's gone and he's back as the governor of Alabama, Alabama's going to make out. But my God, man, we need you in the Senate, sir.
Well, I tell you, I'm going to miss it. I got another year. But at the end of the day, what worries me up here, Steve, is we've got the greatest president ever. He's here at the perfect time. Our country is in so much trouble, and our world is in so much trouble. And he's the only one who's got balls enough to step out there and say, listen, we're going to take all this on at the same time. Here's a problem I got. When the next time the Senate takes over, and it could be this year, the majority of the Senate, they're going to bust the filibuster. And they're going to change everything from the flag to everything else.
Hang on. Is it any doubt in your mind that that's going to happen?
No.
Any doubt?
No. 100% it's going to happen. 100%. And because I went through the vote last time, and thank goodness Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema voted against it, but they took a lot of heat for it. But all the other people are still here. And, it's just one of those things. They want control. Then they know if they ever get back, they will change it and they will not relinquish that control. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to waste President Trump. Now, we're going to hopefully get one more reconciliation. But just think of the things that we could pass with 51 votes. Maybe. I still don't have a lot of confidence in some of these people I work with. But we could do all the voting laws, get that out of the way. We could start cutting the budget. We could do things that were unbelievable for this country. But what are we going to do? We're going to say, no, that's a Senate tradition. Folks, we don't work for the damn Senate. We work for the people of this country. And if we don't do something now, it will never get done. We will lose, and our kids and grandkids, and even us, Steve, will be punished by the Democrats when they take control again.
I'm telling you, everybody is feeling the weight. Everybody is feeling the weight of, we have to do something now. Attorney General Pam Bondi came out and confirmed that the Justice Department is sending more prosecutors to Minnesota to reinforce the U.S. Attorney's Office on the ground as federal investigations continue in the state's sweeping fraud scandal. They're sending more people. This is what we voted for. If you voted for this, guys, if you love this, hit the thumbs up like button, because I'm telling you, to me, the momentum, everybody, we have the news cycle right now. Fraud, waste, and abuse is happening. We have the news cycle that we are seeing so much bad across the United States, blue states specifically, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars into everybody that's on Social Security, Medicaid, needs help, gets help with Medicare. This is where, again, Social Security would not be becoming insolvent in the next 8 years if we didn't have fraud, waste, and abuse like we have now. But I'm happy to say that, again, we're reporting that they're sending more people. The DOJ is in on it. They're not only going after Minnesota, they're going after all of the other states, especially California, because they had the biggest illegal migration here. When you import and have an invasion like this, everybody, where people are coming in and people are 100% just bypassing our borders like it's nothing. This is what you get. People that are 100% going after our money. It's our money. And again, this is a big reporting day. The Trump DOJ and Harvey Dillon just sued another 2 states, Arizona and Connecticut, because they're hiding their voter rolls. We have over half of the states in the United States that will not give up voter rolls because what are they trying to protect? What are they trying to keep from us being able to see? We need 100% transparency when it comes to our voting. Joe Go, thank you so much for the 10 gifted True Life News memberships. If you got a free membership from Joe Go, show him some love in the chat. Thank you so much, brother, for your support. You're awesome. Let's go. Don't forget to show Chris Press some love in the chat, PDX67, and Darcy some love in the chat. And give it up too for, thank you so much, Don Sturgis. Our brother Don said Gavin Newsom needs to explain where the money went from, the LA fires collected, as well as the homeless money. He is responsible 100%. Guys, every single time that I'm showing you something new and we're digging deeper and deeper into this stuff, this is where we are finally winning. And remember, when you share our videos on X and Facebook, more people get to see the actual truth, not just what left-wing CNN, MSNBC, CBS says.
We're going to go to break in 60 seconds. Are we getting any traction at all on the 51 votes of the Republicans to make that happen, sir?
No, you've even had some stand up and say, if you bust a filibuster, I'll turn Democrat. So, it's just one of those things that they think they need control in the Senate. No, you don't need control. You need to vote for things that will save this country. I don't think they really understand how bad it is. They need to get their ass out there and understand that people are hurting. We're broke. We've got so much crime out there. And, President Trump's trying to do all these things. I think he's got the greatest cabinet ever. And they're doing as much as they can, but they need help out of the people in the United States Capitol that the people voted to put them back in here to vote and help President Trump. But no, they got that big ego. We're not busting that tradition of the Senate. It's only like 50 or 60 years old that we have to have 60 votes, and we can change it just like that. No, we won't do it,
guys. And again, I want you to hear this next part, guys, because as we dig deeper into this fraud, waste, and abuse, we have people in Congress right now that are dialing in to the fraud, waste, and abuse that's happening. We're going to show you this in just a moment. But just think, I just want to show you this real quick, that whenever ICE, DHS has now taken the lead, okay, DHS and ICE are going into businesses and confirming whether those businesses are legitimate or not. They've already caught these 2,000 new ICE agents have already caught 1,000 alleged murders, rapists, pedophiles, as they crack down on the state of Minnesota of not only getting the illegals out, but also going after businesses of alleged fraud. This is a game changer, everybody. Trump knows that this is the time now. We've got to make that number and expose everybody and show everybody how bad it really is.
To put military hubs, to actually put troops into Ukraine as soon as there's some worked out ceasefire. They anticipate the United States and Germany. They're trying to get Germany and the United States to commit to that also. The Senate, there's a word out that Marco Rubio briefed the Senate, or at least certain senators, about potential range of alternatives in Greenland and maybe even the potential acquisition of that. Can you put in perspective, because I know you're a non-interventionist, you're America First, this whole concept of hemispheric defense, and how does Greenland and Venezuela and all of it fit into this, sir?
This is big, everybody.
Well, it goes back to the Monroe Doctrine. President Trump said we're going to protect the Western Hemisphere. And, with energy dominance, oil, gas, lithium, everything they got, all the rare earth minerals down there, the financial power of the Western Hemisphere, the dollar system, it's got to remain dominant. you know, what gets me too is the military exclusion. We do not need in the Western Hemisphere a foreign government that is our adversary with a base in the Western Hemisphere, a military base. We don't need that. And it should be excluded. And then, of course, we got all this AI, you know, all this tech stuff coming, the satellites, all those things. You know, of course, we got Cuba. It's been down off the Miami coast down there for 90 miles for years. They get everything we probably send out or talk about here. But at the end of the day, I think they might be next down the road for President Trump if they don't straighten up. But, you know, the thing about this, Steve, is we've got to do what we need to do to protect ourselves and protect this country. Now, we've got a problem with Mexico. We've got a problem with soft Canada. You know, they're Europe. Europe's gone, and Canada's going to be next. And because they, you know, they're eating cheese and working 2 days a week and living off a socialist system. It ain't going to work. So we're going to end up having to help them. But, you know, thank God President Trump has started this situation to where he can protect the people of this country first. And that's what he said he was going to run on when he ran. And he's doing exactly what he said.
And I want to show you this, everybody, because I'm telling you, this right here is a game changer. And if you appreciate what Elon Musk is doing, hit the thumbs up like button, everybody. You don't get to the point where the richest man in the world is calling for you to be prosecuted because you enabled fraud. This is huge. This is the part where we look at it and we say, like, you got on the wrong side of the wrong person who has enough money to go after you and push all the district attorneys and push all these to find, not try to find anything that's not there, but just to expose the fraud, the waste, and the abuse, everybody. Listen to this, because I'm telling you, with Jim Jordan and a lot of these people, everybody is fed up right now. Elon Musk reposted this. Listen to this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Hudson, who is Salim Saeed and Amy Bach?
I recognize those names as defendants in the Feeding Our Future trial.
They ran Feeding Our Future, is that right?
That's correct.
And they've been indicted?
That's correct.
They've been convicted?
That's correct.
And they're in jail waiting sentences, is that right?
As I understand it.
Okay, I want to go back, because earlier with Mr. Gill, you said that they overlooked the fraud. I think it's worse than that. I think they helped it along.
Ooh.
I'm going to go to this meeting that took place, or actually I want to go to March 30th, 2021. Is it true back in March of 2021, the Minnesota Department of Education suspended payments to Feeding Our Future, that program? Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
And then a month later, they resumed payments.
That's correct.
What caused them to change their mind?
In my opinion, what caused them to change their mind was pushback from their constituency within the Somali community who accused the state agencies of being racist.
But what caused them to stop it in the first place? Was it whistleblowers coming forward? Was it like this something's not right here? What happened?
Apologize for the misunderstanding. The reason they stopped the funds in the first place is because they had credible allegations that there was fraud taking place.
From whistleblowers and others.
Correct.
And just they're doing their job, looking, this doesn't make sense. We got all these programs, no one's getting fed, and yet money's going out the door like crazy. So they suspended it. And then they started it back up, right? Was there any threat of a lawsuit from the Somali community and folks affiliated with Feeding Our Future?
Mr. Jordan, there was more than a threat. They actually did.
They did? And what was the alleged claim in that lawsuit?
That they were victims of racial discrimination.
Oh, they played the race card, huh? All this fraud going on, money going out, and they played the race card. Now, when I talked about not just overlooking it, there was a meeting that took place between the Attorney General and affiliates of Feeding Our Future. Is that right?
That is correct.
And what happened at that meeting? Do we know?
Yeah, we do, because we have it on tape. There was an audio recording made at that meeting that was entered into evidence in the Feeding Our Future trial, and it was later revealed through work from Center of the American Experiment, the full recording. And my observations of what took place in that meeting was that Attorney General Keith Ellison was focused on one thing and one thing only, and that was keeping these folks in business. There were no questions that he asked of these folks about how the kids are doing, the operation, how they're getting fed, who's being helped. Instead, the focus was entirely on ensuring that the money continues to flow. And I'll add that he went so far as to say that he was going to fight these people in reference to the state agencies. The state agencies are his client.
Yeah. And when you said...
Let me tell you this, everybody. So we just got breaking news from Ted Cruz that this is insane, everybody. This could very well be the very thing that puts Tim Walz in jail. Okay? This is how bad it is, what I'm about to show you. Guys, this is what I love. We show you things you don't normally see on mainstream media, okay? This is what I love about what we do, because we bring you the truth, we show you the receipts. You cannot make this stuff up. Listen to this. This was posted by Ted Cruz, who is a sitting senator. The Office of the Legislative Auditor reported out that during the course of the audit, they identified a number of documents that the BHA either backdated or created after the audit began. And this is, again, the cover-up. They literally found documents that were backdated or created after the audit began to try and sway the numbers to not make it look as bad as what was happening in Minnesota. This is it, everybody. This is the very thing. This document right here is what puts people into jail, because then it's like, okay, this is enough for a grand jury to say, okay, well, if the state auditor found that they were backdating and creating new documents after the audit begins to try to cover up, it's worse than what we thought was out there. My goodness, everybody, this is insane. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. This was, again, posted by Senator Ted Cruz, which you're about to hear in a moment, over what's going on today. This is huge. Desiree GW7, let's go. Thank you so much for the super chat. Said, I'm from California and the homelessness is real. I'm trying to get one of my tax clients to become a whistleblower because she has firsthand knowledge of the fraud. God bless and keep you. Amen. Show Desiree some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much for that blessing. And what Desiree is talking about is this right here, everybody. Fed prosecutor warns more arrests are coming after massive fraud found in the California Homeless Services. The prosecutor said, we followed the money. Guys, there's just so much to show you today, but I'm going to show you this in just a moment because all this is super important. I want you to see the receipts. It is super important that you not only see this, but you hear the prosecutors say it for themselves. We're going back into the questioning right now. This Minnesota fraud, it's starting with Minnesota, but it's going to go to every single state across the United States. And if you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up, like button. And don't forget to show Desiree some love in the chat, as well as our boy Jogo with his gifted memberships.
Money's going to flow. Did money flow to Mr. Ellison's campaign a couple weeks later from some of the folks who were in that meeting?
Sure did.
How much? Do we know how much that was?
I do not have that number.
So it wasn't just overlooking the fraud. They were actively trying to make sure this program continued, and then they benefited from that politically with contributions to their campaign, all in this same year, all in 2021, when this was all coming to a head. Is that accurate?
That is my understanding.
And this fraud is much bigger than this, because as I look, it's like 6 different federal agencies. Department of Homeland Security, Health and Human Services, Small Business Association, Housing Urban Development, Department of Labor, Department of Agriculture. In this program and a bunch of others, they were shaking down the entire federal government, it looked like. 6 different federal agencies. I think you pointed out, over the last 15 years?
That's correct.
And not only are the Democrat administration overlooking it, they're helping it along. They're assisting it.
Wow.
They're going after whistleblowers, as your colleague pointed out. And they're benefiting from all this politically with contribution to their campaign. Not to mention the voting issue that you referenced earlier as well. Is that all accurate?
I believe so.
Oh, now there's more than 6 agencies involved. There's 6 federal agencies that got shaken down, but there's 2 other agencies involved now, the FBI and the DOJ. Right? How many people have been indicted now?
I do not have that number in front of me, but it's significant.
And I don't know how long y'all been in the legislature. We appreciate your work, appreciate what you do. But have you ever seen anything like this in your time in the I've never seen anything like this in an AT. Miss Robbins, you...
Guys, again, like, this is so massive. And again, I can't believe even this. I'm telling you, everybody is being put in the grinder, guys. Tim Burchett has officially come out and called on the House Intelligence Committee to subpoena and release the immigration records of Congresswoman Elon Omar. Do you realize if we get to the point this happens, because remember, the more pressure that we put, the more that we expose this, the more that people ask for it, the more that we'll start to see this come to pass. That if we press on this and this happens and we find out that Congresswoman Elon Omar her immigration is actually invalid, it's actually voided, it's actually fraudulent, I'm telling you, this is going to shake the entire United States like never before. There will be investigations into every person that's not a native U.S. citizen in Congress, in state representatives, in the Senate. And all it takes is one person. All it takes is our boy Tim Burchett, who's applying the pressure to go after and get people that are not putting America first. You've heard it plenty of times. Elon Omar has not come out and said she's America first. She's come out and she's all been about disgracing America and trying to change America to be more like where she came from. That's not the goal. You're supposed to come here, assimilate, make us better, not try to change us and demonize us for everything that America's done. Listen to this, because again, the grilling is real. I love it. I hope you love it too. This is what I love when it comes to reporting.
We'll now begin the questioning portion of the hearing, and our chair recognizes Mr. Gill from Texas for the first question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for holding this hearing so expeditiously. We all know this is an important issue, not just in terms of welfare fraud, but also immigration more broadly. So we appreciate it. And thank you for the witnesses for taking the time to come here. I want to start with you, Mr. Balu. Again, thank you for being here. Let me ask you, does large-scale Somali immigration make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Certainly stronger.
Certainly stronger. Do you know what percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on food stamps?
No.
54%. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Well, to be clear, a majority of the...
It's 7%. There's a big difference between 54% and 7%, is there not?
Excuse me, sir, could I answer the question?
Let me move on. We've got a lot of questions here. What percentage of Somali-headed households in Minnesota are on Medicaid?
I don't know.
It's 73%. Do you know what that number is for Minnesota native households?
Again, you're using the phrase Minnesota native households, but the majority...
The number is 18%. That's quite an astounding difference. I think we would agree.
Can I answer the question, please?
Let me ask you one more, and then we can go on to that. What percentage of Somali-headed households are on welfare in general?
I don't know.
It's 81%. What about, let me just ask you, after 10 years of being in the United States, what percentage of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare?
I don't know.
The number is 78%. So even after 10 years, 78% of Somali immigrant households continue to be on welfare. Do you know what that number is for native Minnesota-headed households?
Again, you're using
non-Somali immigrant-headed households.
If I can just answer the question, when you're using the phrase native Minnesotans, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are as Minnesotan as any of us. They were born in the United States. It's only 8,000 of the 108,000 Somali.
Nevertheless, the welfare usage is astoundingly different. Let me ask you again, does that make Minnesota stronger or weaker?
Again, I'd like the opportunity to answer the question here. So, again, the majority of Somali Minnesotans are born in the United States, as I understand it.
Okay, well, what percentage of working age Somalians who have been in the U.S. for 10 years or more, how many of them speak English very well?
I don't know.
About half. The answer is about half. That seems pretty low, doesn't it?
Again, I keep trying
to... That doesn't sound like something that makes our country stronger to me, and I think most Americans would agree with me on that. I need to move on. Ms. Robbins, when would you say we concretely knew that widespread welfare fraud was occurring in Minnesota?
There have been reports since 2009 from the Office of Legislative Auditor. I would say the credible reports on childcare fraud started surfacing 2011 to 2013.
So for over a decade?
Yes, sir.
When do you think Governor Walz knew about this fraud?
From the very beginning. He was running for governor in 2018 when there were prosecutions going on, when there was an OLA report, active cases in the news all the time.
And what was the Walz administration's response?
They actually did nothing when they got into office, and Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan had been on the committee in the legislature that had hearings on childcare fraud, and when they got into office, they did put $5 million into a little more money, but nothing changed.
But nothing. And let me ask you, Mr. Hudson, thank you for being here. Did those who commit this fraud, do they typically vote for Republicans or Democrats, in your opinion?
In my opinion, thank you for qualifying like that, I would say they most definitely overwhelmingly vote for Democrats.
Do they typically donate to Republicans or Democrats?
Not to my knowledge. They don't donate to Republicans, they donate to Democrats, in my opinion, yes.
Got it. So would you say this is the Somali population is an important demographic for Democrats to win over politically?
Unquestionably.
Got it. And do you think it would have hurt Democrats' political standing with the Somali population to investigate this fraud?
Very clearly.
Got it. So in other words, you're saying that there was a political incentive to cover up widespread Somali fraud. Is that right?
100%.
Got it. Let me ask all three of you. Did the Walz administration and Democrats intentionally, in your opinion, overlook this fraud while it was happening for political gain? I'll start with you, Ms. Robbins.
Absolutely. We have credible whistleblower reports that the Department of Human Services administration up to the OIG and the commissioner met with a group called the Minnesota Minority Child Care Association multiple times, and that they were trying to weaken protections. We wanted, we had several changes we wanted to do, and they opposed all of them.
And Mr. Hudson and Ms. Rarick, and then my time is up.
I would agree.
Absolutely. The whistleblowers confirm it.
Got it. Thank you.
Chair now recognizes Representative.
All right, everybody. So again, what you're about to see next is the document I showed you a moment ago. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. James Comer reveals the very document that, again, we are finding out they have just fraud, waste, and abuse, backdated documents, changed documents, to make sure to try to cover up the fraud, waste, and abuse. Listen to this.
Yesterday, Minnesota's Office of the Legislative Auditor published an audit of the state's Department of Human Services Behavioral Health Administration grants. I'd like to enter that report and its cover letter into the record. Without objection, so ordered. The cover letter of this report states, quote, however, during the course of our audit, we identified a number of documents that the Behavioral Health Administration either backdated or created after our audit happened, end quote. It sounds like Governor Tim Walz's Department of Human Services may have been fabricating evidence by creating documentation after the fact to mislead voters, to mislead auditors. This new report noted that one grantee who received nearly $680,000 from this agency for 1 month's work, but could not provide any documentation or proof that any work was actually completed. What's more,
I want you to hear this again, everybody. 1 month, $680,000.
Month's work, but could $1,000 from this agency for 1 month's work, but could not provide any documentation or proof that any work was actually completed. What's more, and this is the kicker, the report notes that the grant manager who approved this money left the agency within days of approving the grant to take a job with the very same grantee that they approved money for.
Oh my goodness, do you hear this? 1 month of work, no proof whatsoever that the work was done, $680,000 given. Once it's approved, the next month they quit their job and then go work for the same institution that they just granted the money to. Guys, this is where jail time comes in. This is where more arrest comes in. We showed you earlier. I want you to hear now the actual Keith Ellison audio tapes that's been leaked from the Attorney General for Minnesota over all this fraud, waste, and abuse. Listen to this. Oh, come on. Okay, 1 second. Let me refresh everybody. There we go.
Did for one of the biggest fraud scandals in the state. Watch. only way we can protect what we have is by inserting ourselves into the political arena, putting our votes where it needs to be, but most importantly, putting our dollars in the right place and supporting candidates that will fight to protect our interests.
That's right.
You can only protect our interests when we have your back, and you don't have to worry about who's behind you.
So now officials are saying, why was Ellison meeting with this group in the first place? They were asking him to help them get more federal funding, offering votes and campaign donations for support. So the audio clip's part of an ongoing investigation into the widespread fraud across the state. Ellison's office sharing an op-ed that he wrote in the local paper. He said, in part, I took a meeting in good faith with people I didn't know, and some turned out to have done bad things. I did nothing for them and took nothing from them. But documents obtained by the Center for the American Experiment say some of those non-convicted Somali fraudsters that he met with donated money to Ellison's campaign after that meeting. It's money, though, he did later give back once this group was indicted, according to reports. So there's just so many.
Again, everybody, do you see this? If this is not the collapse, everybody, that we've been waiting for, Fed prosecutors warns more arrests coming after massive fraud found in California homeless services. I want to show you this too, because I'm telling you, every single person that's on the Trump team is going after all the fraud, waste, and abuse, Medicare, Medicaid. This is huge, everybody. Listen to this, because they're putting a stop to it. They're stopping the outflow of money, and we're actually holding people accountable.
At CMS and HHS, we're increasingly worried about the deep rot within Minnesota's Medicaid and social services system, which are supposed to protect the most vulnerable Americans. The more we uncover, the more it becomes clear it's much worse than we were led to believe by state government officials. We had previously learned that illegal immigrants were still getting care within allegedly state-only Medicaid programs that were actually using federal taxpayer funds. And because of that, we already withheld $1.3 billion from California, Illinois, and yes, Minnesota, which always seems to show up on the list of states with the worst fraud, waste, and abuse. But this is only the tip of the iceberg for Minnesota. We have an unfortunate announcement for the Walz administration. They have to admit they were warned. Last month, we instructed the Walz administration to produce a corrective action plan by the end of the year, which we received late New Year's Eve and found deeply insufficient. We don't want to hear, for example, that your state law doesn't allow you to protect federal taxpayers from Somali fraud. And we want a sense of urgency to fix this, as well as clear milestones to hold Minnesota accountable on progress. Enough is enough. I just notified Governor Walz we will begin auditing Medicaid receipts and defer paying on claims based on fraud, waste, and abuse. Until we can verify what is legitimate, we're going to defer payments for the 14 programs that the state itself identified as rife with fraud.
Tell me, everybody. Oh, we're going to give some thumbs up. You guys, hit the thumbs up if this is what you've been waiting for. I'm telling you, this is where we finally root out the deep state. We finally get out the rot. You just heard Dr. Oz literally say, we are stopping all the payments. No more money's going out. No more is, because until we can prove that this is legitimate, ain't happening. This is some of the most mind-blowing, and I've got something else to show you in just a moment. This is some of the most mind-blowing, actionable. We're actually seeing the administration stop the fraud, waste, and abuse in real time. Guys, I love this. I hope you do too. I am so thankful for this, because this is coming from the Trump administration. We could not do it without having the right people in the right place, like Dr. Oz.
Figure could be in the hundreds of millions of dollars. If the state cannot get a handle on this fraud, as we find more, we intend to withhold more payments moving forward until the state cleans up its act. This ensures that Minnesotans who are truly in need and eligible for benefits can access Medicaid services, but the state's going to be forced to clean up its act and stop wasting taxpayer dollars. The state mismanaged its program, and federal taxpayers should not be held liable. We should note that Governor Walz has a rainy day fund with plenty of money to cover any real shortfalls in the unlikely event these actions affect beneficiaries directly. This, my friends, is about holding Governor Walz accountable and making him take the steps he should have taken years ago. This is just the beginning. While there are 14 Medicaid programs that we know are high risk, we suspect from our team on the ground that there's a long road ahead to clean up the fraud. We want the people of Minnesota to know that this hardship was caused by a complete abdication of duties by the Walz administration, which your state leaders need to own and address immediately. Our duty is to provide the highest quality health care for the most vulnerable Americans. So we can't allow further theft of federal taxpayer money from 49 states to underwrite fraud in Minnesota. We'll have more to say in the weeks ahead.
Oh, baby. I
Produced
love
by
it,
the
everybody. I'm so thankful for this. I hope you appreciate what I'm about to show you next, because I'm telling you, we are dropping the hammer, and Elon Musk is reposting all of these videos to his 231 million followers on X. This is what we voted for. This is holding people accountable. This is asking the hard, right questions.
Question is, should Somalians who committed fraud be denaturalized and deported, Mr. Bayou?
Again,
Yes
I'm not
or
sure
no?
that's an appropriate question because the majority of Somali
So if you
Minnesotans
commit
are
fraud in
citizens.
this country and you are here from Somalia, you don't believe they should be denaturalized and deported? How
Again,
much
most-
fraud would it take for you to want to denaturalize and deport someone who committed fraud in this country? How much?
Again,
A
Ms.
billion?
Mays,
9 billion? 19 billion? What would it take for you?
most Somali Minnesotans are citizens.
Right. And the ones that committed fraud, the question was, if you understand English, should be those who committed fraud, should they be denaturalized and deported? The Somalians who are here, the ones that can't speak English.
Yeah, so under U.S. law.
Okay,
the
my next
basis-
question for
Excuse me,
you
can I please answer the
is,
question?
no, you can't because you're not answering the question. My next question is, this is yes or no. If you marry your brother and you commit immigration fraud, should you be denaturalized and deported? If you
Again,
commit immigration fraud, yes or no?
Again, that question seems really inappropriate. And if I can get
Well, you
back
can't
to
answer my question, so that's probably more inappropriate. Can you name one significant contribution to Minnesota from a Somali immigrant who can't speak English?
Absolutely, yes. But again, this is.
You didn't name one. All right, so my next questions are going to be for the Honorable Ms. Robbins. Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today.
Oh my goodness. Look, because they only get 4 or 5 minutes, everybody, but they're laying them out. People don't, they're tired of it. Look at this right here. California is doing a voter ID petition. Over 1 million signatures has been collected to force voter ID in the state of California. This is big, everybody. People need to be held accountable. If you can have the largest state with the largest electoral votes in the presidential election, not have to even show ID, or even, they're not even allowed to ask for it. And if you even try to show if you were to go in there and try to show them your ID, they can not allow you to vote. That's how bad it is. Deborah Webb, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said love and light to all. Show Deborah some love in the chat. And don't forget to show Desiree some love in the chat, everybody. This is, again, we have to get the voter ID. We have to fight the fraud, waste, and abuse. We have to hold people accountable. And everything that I'm showing you, this is all happening today. This right here is probably the biggest one. Of the DOJ is sending prosecutors to Minnesota for investigations into widespread fraud. Pam Bondi has confirmed that the Justice Department is sending more prosecutors to reinforce the U.S. Attorney's Office on the ground as federal investigations continue in the state's sweeping fraud scandal. That's how bad it is, everybody. And what I love is that as we continue to dig down deep, we continue to hold these people accountable. This is what, to me, is going to make America great again. This is what's going to get us back on track. And if you believe it, guys, hit the thumbs up like button. This next piece I want to show you. Every single time that we expose this, the more money that we cut off, And the more that we hold these people accountable, they're not going to be able to go anywhere. And as much as they want to deny it, and as much as they want to try to run from it, every single state, no matter where you're at, if you committed fraud at any level, we're coming after you. Listen to this.
Let's head on down to Mississippi. Day one of jury selection, wrapping up in the massive $77 million welfare fraud trial involving former wrestling star Ted DiBiase Jr., who stands accused of embezzling $1.1 million through the state's welfare system.
Mississippi State Auditor Shad White has been sounding the alarm on this fraud for years. He joins us now. Sir, thanks for being with us on this. We're just trying to hit every single state where something in this fraud category is coming up. You've been at this for a long time. The trial's now, but this has kind of been 6 years in the making. Okay, so tell us how you think this relates to what we're seeing in Minnesota, what Steve Hilton was just talking about there in California and other places.
Sure. I think what you're seeing, unfortunately, is this big systemic pattern of fraud, waste, and abuse happening around the country. And when we found what we found here in Mississippi, I went to Congress and testified in 2023, and I told them, look, there are massive, massive grants that are going from the federal government to states, and then they go to these third parties. So those third parties might be a nonprofit or a child care center or a business, and then there's very little oversight of those third parties. So this system is a hothouse for fraud, and unfortunately, politicians in D.C. did nothing back then, and now we turn on our TV screens and we see fraud in Minnesota, we see fraud in California. I think you're exactly right. I think taxpayers are fed up, and I think that's one reason they elected President Trump, because he doesn't care if people call him names. He's just sick of the nonsense that's happening to taxpayers, and I think he's dedicated to putting a stop to all of this.
Shad, you've been talking about this. You brought it up for years in front of Congress. And what is so infuriating is the programs that are always targeted for fraud and theft are the ones that are refilled, the cookie jars, that are constantly refilled with taxpayer money. It's Medicare, it is Medicaid, it is welfare, like temporary assistance for needy families. And then when the fraud is discovered, even as large as the biggest in welfare fraud in Mississippi state history, I believe, then they go, we need an audit here. We need to get to the bottom of this. And when the bottom takes years in the making, and it's just absurd that, okay, then you need to get ahead of it rather than be back on your heels and your backs and your fanny and just letting it happen.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. And, you know, when I started testifying a few years ago and nothing happened, I thought, well, we're going to need an administration change really to see some preventative action. And so the other day, you may have noticed this news. In the wake of the Minnesota fraud scandal, President Trump's administration said in every state they are going to require photo evidence or receipts before they would allow the spending of additional federal dollars in some of these programs. That's the exact kind of thing that we have been waiting on for a long time. You can audit these programs all day long. Auditors around the country have been saying these programs are vulnerable to fraud. But what we really needed was decisive action at the very top. And so now that you've seen that, I think you're going to couple that with DOJ that was happening at the White House. I think you're also going to see the President's Department of Justice. You're going to see a lot of action holding these people accountable.
Crazy thing, isn't it? Asking for receipts when you say you're spending money.
I'm telling you, everybody, if we are not living in the new age of accountability, of going after the fraud, the waste, and the abuse, I love it. President Trump is doing exactly what he said he'd do. And again, this is the smoking gun, everybody. Elon Musk is behind saying to prosecute these governors that are enabling fraud. We have this document now that shows that the Walz administration was backdating everybody and creating new documents after the audit and inserting them in, trying to cover up. Like this right here. Oh, I love this. If you love it, guys, hit the thumbs up like button. If you're watching, not a part of the family yet, please consider joining our family. We just want to bring the breaking news to you every single day and want to say thank you so much to everybody who is watching, who supports us. Remember, when you give on this channel, whether it's a membership, whether it's a super chat, on the 22nd of every single month, we donate live on stream to a local charity. And that is, we've given to children's homes, crisis pregnancy centers, and we give to local ones because most of the money goes to the actual people that need it the most. And we also want to remind you that, again, right now is the time. If you missed your opportunity during the annual open enrollment when it comes to Medicare back last year, now is the time that you can call Chapter Up and get help with your Medicare coverage. It is a free service to you. The number is 667-895-3015. People have saved thousands upon thousands of dollars, everybody. We have people on this channel that literally got over $1,000 in additional benefits, stipends. One person saved over $5,000 in healthcare costs. Go get your blessing. Call them up. They can help you with any Medicare coverage questions. They can help you find the right Medicare coverage. It's free, and you can do this right now. The number is 667-895-3015. And don't forget that the number's in the description as well as at the bottom of the screen. And I want to give some special love to those that have given today. Give it up for the Memphis Conservative. Thank you so much for your support. Our boy Richard with the 5 gifted True Life News memberships, brother. Thank you so much for growing our family. You're the best. Thank you so much for Chris Prez, who is gifted 15 True Life News memberships. Brother, you're the best. 15 gifted True Life News memberships. If you got a free one, show Chris some love in the chat. Darcy, thank you so much, Darcy's Corner, for her gifted 5 True Life News memberships. Show her some love in the chat. Thank you so much to Digging It with Dawn, Debbie Davis. Thank you so much, Aaron B424, members of the channel. Philip Petcho, thank you so much for your support. Give it up for Jogo, who's gifted 10 True Life News memberships on this channel, growing our family. Thank you so much, Jogo. We appreciate you so much. Don Sturgis, thank you so much for support. Camp Goer 1, Deborah Webb, show them some love in the chat, everybody. Thank you so much for sharing our videos on X, on Facebook. We're winning, guys. We are winning. It's a year into Trump's presidency. So much breaking news. We're delivering to you a show every single day. We love you. Appreciate